Hi guys, and welcome once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Unoma. So in today's tutorial, we're learning how to make this beautiful top. We've already learned how to make the trouser in our previous tutorial, so now we'll be learning how to make the top now, okay, that has a rushed at both sides. Okay, so it's very beautiful and very simple to make. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive right into the tutorial. So now we're going to be ruling our starting point first, as in here, that's the line I have there. Just rule out your starting point like so, and so that part is going to be serving as a guide. Okay, so all our measurements will be starting at from that line. So I'll be measuring taking the full length of this top first. Okay, you can do from your hip measurement, but shoulder to hip, but I went down to about 5 inches or 6 or thereabouts lower than my hip measurement. Okay, so then I added 2 inches for my hemming allowance. I've also gone ahead to take my shoulder to waist measurement as well, so I'm just going to be connecting those points together. So I'm just going to be connecting those points together. So my fabric is already folded into 4, meaning I'm going to be cutting out the back and the front piece together because this top doesn't have any zipper. So now I've gone ahead to connect my lines together. So now I'm going to be measuring my shoulder measurement. I'm going to be dividing my shoulder measurement into 2. Okay, your shoulder measurement divided by 2, place it there, add your half inch for joining the sleeve, and you do our 3 inches and 1 inches shoulder slope. If you've been following us, you know that this is the normal thing we always do on the channel. Just come down by 1 inch on your shoulder and come out by 3 inches on the neckline and connect it back to the 1 inch. So now from that 1 inch shoulder, I'm going to be measuring my armhole, taking my armhole, and I took 8 inches. So that's what I have there. I brought what I have at the shoulder down to the armhole area, and I just connected it to make a straight line. I'll be going up by 1 inch on the midpoint there so that I'll be able to make my armhole curve. So now I'm taking my bust measurement divided by 4, and I'm adding my 1 inch for my ease and also 1 inch. I added 1.5 inch actually for my ease and 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So I'm just going to be connecting it back to my armhole. So at the midpoint of this armhole, I'm coming in by half an inch for my front armhole. Okay, the back is going to remain straight, but the front is going to come in by half an inch at the midpoint there. So I'm just connecting, showing you where the back is going to be passing and where the front is going to be. So now come to my waist area and measure my waist divided by 4, add my 1 inch for my ease and my 1 inch for my sewing allowance. I'm also going to be coming down to my hip area, the hem of this top, and I'll be going in with my hip measurement divided by 4, 1 inch for my ease and 1 inch for my sewing allowance, 1.5 inch for ease, 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I'm just going to be connecting from the waist down to that area. So now that we've done that, because this is going to be having an opening where we are going to be passing our strap that we're going to be using for the rush effect, so we're going to be coming out on that waist area by another 1 inch. Okay, so that we have enough sewing allowance inside to be able to fold our fabric. Okay, so just on the waist area, I'm just going to be connecting it like so back to my hip. Sorry guys about the background noise. Okay, I'm in my shop making this voiceover right now, so I'm so sorry about the noise. Just concentrate on what I'm saying. So there. So now we're going to be going next. We're going to be going to taking our neck measurements. So for the neck depth, front neck depth, I came down by 8 inch and 3.5 inches width. Okay, for the front, it's going to be a V neckline in front, and at the back I'll be coming down by 1.5 inch or 1 inch. Then the width remains the same as the front, which is 3.5 inches. So now that I have this, I'm just going to, at the hem area there, I came up by 1 inch, okay, just to give it this curve at the sides, because we don't want our sides to be dropping. So you can come in by 1.5 inch as well and just give it a curve to the midpoint of this top. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to be going ahead to cut this out like so. So you can see what I am doing, just cutting it out, following the marks that we made earlier. So I'm actually going to be cutting out the back bodies first before going ahead to cut out the front, okay? So I'm cutting out the back. Now I'm following the back armhole when doing this. I'm going to be cutting out the back armhole like so. You can see where I'm following, okay? Just straight. I didn't cut into the 1/2 inch we made for the front. I'm going to follow my shoulder slope like so. And yeah. Then I'm also going to be cutting out my back neckline. So once I'm done cutting out for the back, I'm going to be raising it up and removing one piece, the back piece, so I have the front left. So now I can go ahead and cut out my front neckline and my front armhole. So I'm just aligning this properly before I cut, okay? So now I'm taking out the 1/2 inch I removed for my front armhole. So I'm also going to be cutting out my front neckline as well. So that is what I have there. You can see what we are having for the front, and this is the back. So I'm just going to be keeping this aside to cut out my facing. So now I folded a piece of fabric that I'm going to be using for this facing, okay? I do not want to use a bias to turn the neckline, but if you want to use a bias, you can go ahead and do that. But I prefer using my facing because it makes your job neater. So I'm just going to be tracing out the neckline like so, and part of the shoulder like so as well. And once I've done that, I'm just going to be lifting this up and taking my measurements. I'm going to be measuring about 3 inches, okay? Yeah, 3 inches all the way from the neck line, from the neck area. So just measure your 3 inches like so. You can use more than that depending on how you want your facing to be. It actually depends on you, okay? So just play with it. Whatever you want is fine. So I'm just going to be cutting this out. So we have our facing for the front. So you can see what we have here. So this is the facing for our front neckline. So you can just fold this when stitching, or when after stitching the neck, you can just use a hem gun, place it underneath it to just glue everything down neatly. So I've also gone ahead to cut my facing for my back as well, the same way I cut out for the front. Okay, so now that I'm done with that, I'm just going to be bringing my front piece and my facing, placing it together like so, aligning it properly. Then I'll go over to the sewing machine and I'll stitch this down. Okay, make sure right side of the facing is facing right side of the fabric, and I'll stitch it down with 1/2 inch. So once I'm done with that, I'll also bring my back piece as well, bring the facing for the back as well. Then I'll go over to the sewing machine as well. I will stitch it down, make sure right sides are facing each other, and I'll stitch it down as well with 1/2 inch. So guys, I am done with that. You can see how neat our neck area is looking. You can see it at the back. I have also gone ahead to use my hemming gum to glue it down neatly inside. So this is what we have. So what we're going to be doing next is we are going to be using we're just going to be using the lining to the facing to turn the facing, and the actual fabric to turn the actual fabric, basically. So we're just going to be using it like so that we have a neat finishing inside. So just align the midpoints together, the lines together, align it properly. You can go in with your pin and pin this down to make it easier, then stitch with 1/2 inch. I'll do the same thing to the other part of the shoulder. So guys, I'm done doing that. I actually went ahead to stitch this down, turning the shoulders, before I went ahead to use my hemming gum to glue it down, basically. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to be taking my sewing allowance that I left at both sides. Okay, note when you're taking this, okay, that from the waist area the sewing allowance is more. Okay, now I've gone ahead to do that, and I also stopped at about 2 inches because I want to hem the down part first before stitching it completely. So I'm just going to go ahead to sewing machine, fold in my hemming allowance like so, and stitch it down. So I've done that, guys. So this is what we have. So I'm just going to be flipping this top to the wrong side. Okay, this is what we have. This is the sewing allowance at the wrong side. Okay, this is what we are going to be using to create our channel that the strap is going to be passing through. So I'm just going to be folding it like so, 1/2 inch first and 1/2 inch again. Okay, are you seeing what I'm doing? Just look closely. Fold 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch again. Okay, I'm repeating the step. Fold 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch again on top of the fabric, on top of the front, the one for the front. Make it alone on the front. Raise your fabric like so, and make sure you make your stitch for the front alone. And when you're doing for the back area as well, raise your fabric up and stitch for the back as alone. Okay, basically. So I'm repeating the same thing for the other side. So guys, you can see what I have. You can see our stitch. I made the stitch for the front side and the back as well. You can see what we have. So we have 2 holes. Okay, now I've cut out a piece of fabric, 2 pieces of fabric that I'm going to be using to create my straps. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the sewing machine. I think this strap of fabric is about 1.25, yeah, or thereabout. Yeah, so I'm just going to fold in like so and stitch the upper part first, and continue stitching by 0.25 inches all the way down. So I'm done stitching, and I've gone ahead to turn it. Okay, and I also gave it a good press. Now that I'm done with that, I brought in my safety pin. I'm just going to be passing this through the channel that we created earlier. So I'm just passing this through. Once I get to the waist area, note when I was stitching this passage, okay, I stopped it on the waist area. Okay, I stopped my stitching on the waist area. So we have an opening on the waist area. So once you get to the waist area, you put it inside the other channel. Okay, just pass it through till it comes out at the down part of the top, basically. So guys, you can see what we have. I have successfully passed these straps through our channel, and I'm just making sure everything stays nice, just pulling it to make the straps equal. So guys, I will repeat the same step for the other side of my top. Okay, so once you do this, you can pull it and it will give you that effect that you want. So guys, this is our top. I've gone ahead to pass my strap to the other side of the top. Okay, you can see what we have now is looking beautiful already. So the next thing we are going to be doing now is to fix our sleeve. So I brought my basic body sleeve that I've already cut out. Okay, so I have a video on it already on the channel. So this part I just cut it off camera and brought out my sleeve. So this is my sleeve. So what I'll be doing, I'll just be hemming the down part of this sleeve, okay, and take my top, measure what I have left on the armhole, make sure it's wide enough for your clients. Is wide enough, okay, is the measurement for your client's armhole. If it is not wide enough, you just go ahead and trim it out more. So you measure what you have round and you come to your sleeve, measure exactly what you have on your armhole there, okay, place it there and stitch it all the way down with your sleeve allowance. This is what we have done so far. See how our top sitting pretty and beautiful. And this trouser also, this pant trouser is also, the tutorial is also up on the channel. I'll be leaving the link in the description box. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.